us tonight. I'm Blake Burman. So breaking tonight, dangerously hot. More than 175 million Americans under a major heat alert at this hour. Right now in the nation's capital, a feels like of 110 degrees. Higher than that in Nashville, Tennessee today, where the feels like temps hit 116. We'll show you where this heat dome is headed across America next. Also at this hour, the firefight, the flames and the evacuation orders spreading out west.
Oh my God.
Those fast-moving fires already charring 125,000 acres in Colorado, and the threat not over. We're going to take you to the front lines tonight. Also this evening, the high-flying salute. The Air Force's elite Thunderbirds set to put American air power on full display to celebrate America's 250th birthday. One of the ace pilots taking to the skies is with us tonight. Plus, it's the card heard round the cup. The U.S. men's soccer team scoring a huge win, but a controversial call has fans, including the Secretary of State, crying foul.
They got screwed with that red card. I wish there needs to be an appeal process for that.
So can anything be done about that unruly red for the red, white, and blue? But first tonight, red, white, and boiling. Millions of Americans getting ready for the 4th with the thermostat stuck on sizzling. A holiday heat dome driving feels-like temperatures into the triple digits for large portions of the country. And that's if you're lucky. In some spots today, the shade even breaking 100 degrees. A live look right now at Lady Liberty, and hopefully someone can hand her a towel. In New York, at one point, it feels like of 112. More than 175 million Americans now facing either major or extreme heat risk. Now, weather not the only challenge this 4th of July. Law enforcement adding patrols, deploying drones, working the waterways, and setting up security checkpoints from coast to coast tonight. In the nation's capital, Freedom 250 will be protected by 5,000 National Guard troops, magnometers, and snipers. The day-long celebration featuring a concert, historic fireworks, and a primetime address from the president. Freedom 250 spokeswoman Rachel Reisner with me in moments. Meteorologist Blake Matthews with the forecast. Our Alex Capriello on what travelers are dealing with. But we begin tonight over at the White House and our Libby Dean. Libby?
Hi, Blake. The president is preparing for a whirlwind few days as the country rings in its 250th anniversary tomorrow. President Trump heading to South Dakota to historic Mount Rushmore there. It'll be the first time for fireworks at the monument in 6 years. Then it's back here to D.C. for that Saturday celebration on the 4th. Years in the making of that event. The president is planning remarks on the National Mall Saturday night. Despite that sweltering heat, he did promise a lengthy speech, but visitors, they'll be greeted with security lines, checkpoints, road closures. The security level here also will be the highest designation possible, similar to an inauguration or the Super Bowl is what they're preparing for. And the Secret Service says all of that is necessary to ensure safety of the White House complex, but also safety of President Trump and his cabinet. And the area around me actually here at the White House, so the Ellipse, Lafayette Park, that will be closed off for blocks, so visitors won't be able to get a clear view of the White House if they're here in D.C., Blake.
All right, our Libby Dean live tonight on the North Lawn. Libby, thank you. With us now is Rachel Reisner, spokeswoman for Freedom 250, the organization that is putting on the big show this big weekend. Rachel, thanks for being with us tonight. So let's start with what I think a lot of folks want to know, which is the fireworks. What are we going to see Saturday night?
Yes, thanks again for having me tonight. We are so excited for what will be the most historic 4th of July in our nation's history. This 4th of July, Americans can expect to see not only the world's largest fireworks this year, but in history. This 4th of July fireworks show is truly something that Americans have never seen before. Beginning in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, we will have amazing flyovers from everything from America's best Thunderbirds to the Ospreys and more, culminating into the 4th of July fireworks, as you mentioned, the largest. Yeah,
so you say the largest ever. Here, we looked at the Guinness World Record for fireworks. Happened in the Philippines, January, basically New Year's of 2016. An hour and a minute, 810,904 fireworks. You're going to break that, you're telling us?
Yes, we are. We are actually going to be at just over 30 minutes as well, with over 851,000 fireworks right here in our nation's capital.
All right, what are you going to do about the weather? Even President Trump joking about it the other day. Here he was, and we'll pick it up.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
Are you changing any plans there? I mean, the National Weather Service has it as extreme heat actions that folks should take. Stay in air-conditioned rooms and stay out of the sun. That sort of goes against what you're hoping for there, which is a big crowd. So what changes?
Yeah, so of course, Freedom 250 is taking this of the utmost importance and seriousness. We've been working with all of our amazing partners here in D.C., from Homeland Security to U.S. Secret Service and Park Police and more, to ensure guest safety is top priority. So on Saturday, we are encouraging guests to stay hydrated, of course, in the morning and throughout the day and before. Of course, Freedom 250 is expanding our resources to ensure Americans have access to hydration stations throughout. So there will be a number of those, as well as cooling stations at the Salute to America event on our Washington Monument grounds.
Have you had to cancel any
those
events?
Going to Great American State Fair, we're encouraged.
Have you had to cancel any events or postpone any events?
So far, we've been very fortunate. For the most part, everything has been pretty good. The horses needed a little break today, but other than that, across the board, we've been very fortunate and are going to continue doing everything we can to ensure Americans have the most historic, once-in-a-generation event. When you feature the Great American State Fair and Salute to America, of course, there's a number of ways to stay cool. We're encouraging folks to stay in the shade, take breaks from the sun, and of course stay hydrated. Here at the fair, additionally, of course, we're very fortunate to have all of the amazing pavilions with air conditioning too.
There's some reporting out today, Rachel, that is bringing your organization into question, and it includes from The Hill, which is reporting tonight, House Democrats accuse Trump's Freedom 250 of misleading donors, potential wire fraud. It goes on to report The Hill tonight. Lawmakers say individuals who are attempting to provide contributions to the nonpartisan, congressionally chartered America250 Commission were tricked into funding Freedom 250. What is your organization's response tonight?
That is unequivocally false. Of course, Freedom 250 is very proud of all of the amazing events we've been putting on for all Americans. Red, purple, blue, right here in our nation's capital and across the United States. The Great American State Fair is a perfect example of just how bipartisan this is. Everyone from New York to Colorado to Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Virginia, all the way to deep red Texas showed up and partnered with us. Another amazing example is the state of Pennsylvania. We saw, Senator Fetterman and Senator McCormick show up together. So across the board, we are so excited to be welcoming Americans to the most historic 4th of July ever. And again, it's for all Americans.
All right, we'll leave it there. Rachel Reisner is with Freedom 250. Stay cool this weekend. All the best. Good luck. She says, you heard it here, that they're going to break the Guinness record. We'll see it Saturday night. Thank you, Rachel. By the way, quick programming note. Be sure to tune in to News Nation's special live coverage of America's 250th. I'll be kicking off our Salute to America special. That is Saturday night, 6 o'clock Eastern here on News Nation. Then you can catch Leland Vitter, Katie Pavlich, Elizabeth Vargas, Chris Stirewalt, Connell McShane. I'll be handing it over to them for the primetime special. That starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll catch you then. But before then, the Justice Department today slapping a felony charge on a 3-time Olympian canoeist, David Hearn, over suspected vandalism at the newly renovated Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. Hearn arrested last month by Park Police, claiming he reached into the pool just to examine the newly peeled coating.
Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands. According to witnesses, Hearn damaged approximately 2 square feet of sealant from the bottom of the pool.
Hearn's legal team responding to the charge that Hearn, they say, is innocent, and saying that, quote, the charges should be alarming to every American. Well, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, making a trip to the newly refurbished Meridian Hall Park fountain, part of the president's initiative to refurbish landmarks in Washington, D.C. In his remarks, the secretary addressing National Guard members sent to D.C. to combat crime as protesters shouted nearby.
What an honor it is to stand with you in the 250th year of our great republic, where it has always required men and women like you for 250 years to stand up and do the right thing when it's difficult. And that's precisely what you have done in this D.C. safe and beautiful mission.
It comes as the president has embarked on an initiative to refurbish many of D.C.'s iconic monuments and landmarks, including the reflecting pool, as we mentioned, and the Columbus Circle fountain in front of Union Station. Well, still to come tonight, it is probably the story, 50% chance, where you are. The hot American summer. Washington, D.C., for example, about to be hotter than virtually any other place on Earth. We'll show you where the extreme heat dome is scorching cities all across America tonight and into the weekend. Plus, the Daredevil lovers appearing in New York in a courtroom there following that Empire State stunt that had New York City's finest stunned.
Hey, what's all the hoopla going on over there?
Two geniuses climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, the top of the spire.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he just proposed to her.
And why not us? Former World Cup soccer star Bruce Murray with us tonight on how the Argentinian coach leading Team USA has now become an American sensation. The path forward to the round of 16. And can you really not appeal a red card? What? .617 here on the East Coast this evening, and as we approach the holiday weekend and America's 250th birthday, much of the country is under that sweltering heat dome. In our nation's capital, the real feel, 110 degrees. The Washington Post reporting that D.C. will be hotter than 99% of planet Earth tomorrow. Where our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, Philadelphia feels like 113. Nashville hitting a feels like of 116. Dayton, Ohio, 111. All of these cities, as you might imagine, issuing an extreme heat warning as the holiday travel weekend kicks off. Our Alex Capriello has, look, you're on the beach. I don't know if that makes it worse or better because the sand it reflects. You got the breeze. First off, where are you? What does it feel like and what's going on?
I'm right on the shores of Lake Michigan. The best part of living in Chicago is actually coming to the beach, feeling like you're on the ocean. But no, that's just a really, really big lake here behind me. And to answer your question, it actually feels quite pleasant out here. I got a nice breeze. It is called the Windy City after all. And so I'm not doing so bad. Much better than a lot of other folks out there. But when you're talking about this heat dome, we're not talking about a small portion of our population. 250 million Americans. They're all within this area that is dealing with this oppressive heat and humidity caused by this atmospheric effect called a heat dome across 36 of our different United States. So this is impacting such a large portion of our population. But back here to the beach of Lake Michigan, I did speak to one family who, ironically enough, fled Philadelphia to come right here to the Midwest. They were hoping for some cooler conditions. They got it because it is, like you mentioned, much worse in Philadelphia. And in fact, when we asked them about their experience, they started talking about back home. They're worried about their friends and family who are going to be celebrating in that revolutionary city during this Independence Day. Take a listen.
They said it's like 101 degrees today and tomorrow. Yeah, and they're celebrating the 4th of July, like 250, and there's like a big event there too, like a big concert. I don't know how the people's gonna be there. I think some of the event they postponed because it's so hot.
Yeah, that's the temperature, 250.
A lot of eyes and ears thinking about America 250. I know me personally, I'll be celebrating in small town Iowa. We hope you join us on the 4th of July. But let's get back to what we're dealing with right here, because in New York City, another place where there are millions of Americans that are really dealing with those sweltering triple-digit temperatures, we're talking about the mayor, Zohran Mamdani, who's really worried about the energy grid actually cracking at the weight of so much energy usage. He's encouraging New Yorkers to turn their AC units to 78 degrees, also suggesting that people turn off their lights and unplugging their devices, turning their thermostats to 78 degrees, something he's catching a little bit of flack from online, going viral from other people like Barstool founder Dave Portnoy roasting him for that suggestion. But it really does do a lot when it comes to conserving energy if you are able to make just small adjustments like that to change your thermostat and overall help out the grid. Blake.
Alex Kapp, live for us, Chicago. Get back in the car. It's cooler there. Alex, thank you. Joining us now for a look at where the extreme heat is headed next. Next, our meteorologist, Blake Matthews, back with us once again. It's crazy, Blake.
It sure is. You know, all the founding fathers were actually weather observers, or a lot of them were. And can you believe that on July 4th, 1776, the temperature in Philadelphia was not 102, it was 76 degrees at 1 p.m. So I'm sure if how miserable it would have been without AC for those folks back 250 years ago. But look at this now. Philadelphia holding at 102 degrees. We're at 98 degrees in Boston. Now, all of these major cities across the Northeast Corridor did reach 100 degrees today. Boston Logan reached 100. We had 100 degrees even there at Central Park. LaGuardia coming in at 102. JFK was a little bit cooler, but Philly at 102. Washington, D.C. still holding on to 100 degrees, and the heat really expands all the way across the Midwest and down into the South. Now, the good news is, looking at the computer models, we are going to start seeing this ridge of high pressure begin to break down and move on off to the south and east. What that's going to do is allow for a trough of low pressure to dig in, and that means rising motion in the atmosphere, and it also means showers and thunderstorms going to be entering the picture here. So we're going to transition from this sweltering heat over the next couple of days to more of a wet pattern here across the Northeast, and hopefully cooling us down at least a little bit.
Hey, Blake, I want to show you Nashville, Tennessee. This is a live look there, and it hit 116 degrees today, at least the feels like. How do you get to 116? Like, how's that even possible?
Somebody left the oven on, that's for sure. You know, when you are dealing, so the heat index is a measure of the amount of moisture combined with that temperature. So when you have a very heavy, thick atmosphere that's moisture laden, you see those heat index values really begin to climb. So it's a mixture of the dew point and the temperature together, and it certainly feels like a sauna out there. But again, it's not only the Northeast, but also down into the Southeast. Places like Nashville should also see some relief headed their way coming up here in the next couple of days.
All right, Blake Matthews with us tonight. Next, our meteorologist, Blake. Thank you, by the way. Washington, D.C. sizzling into the record books this 4th of July. Forecast high of 101. It's the nation's capital on track for its hottest Independence Day ever, breaking a record that stood since 1919. All right, still to come tonight. 125,000 acres and growing. Wildfires scorching Colorado, fueled by 100-mile-per-hour winds at some points, raising concerns about whether 4th of July fireworks need to be called off. Plus, a live look right now at some country roads in West Virginia. There we go. Looks beautiful, right? Coming up, just how much John Denver's song has surged because of Team USA and World Cup fever. And what about that controversial red card? Like, I know this is a blue card, but the ump took it out and was like, yeah. Red card. Team USA wins on to the round of 16. Bruce Murray. There's only so many people who have ever scored a World Cup goal on this planet. He's with us on the other side. Did they get that right? When we return. Bottom of the hour, approaching 6:30 here on the West Coast tonight, 4:30 across the state of Colorado as wildfires are raging there. One of those fires, the Aspen Acres fire, nearly doubling in size in just the last 24 hours. It scorched close to 50,000 acres now, destroying hundreds of homes, and is at 0% containment. Firefighters warning more homes will be destroyed and evacuating more people in the area today, including in Pueblo County.
I would like to reiterate, as I've said in the past, if you are asked to evacuate, please do so, as we cannot guarantee your safety if you choose to stay.
That fire, along with 8 other active wildfires around Colorado, have now scorched over 125,000 acres of land. For context, that is essentially the entire size of the city of Chicago. The Ferris fire, started by a lightning strike in the southwest corner of the state, also causing devastation in the San Juan National Forest. That's in Montezuma County, burning close to 30,000 acres there. Joining us now is Steve Nolan. He is the sheriff there in Montezuma County, Colorado, with us tonight. Sheriff, thank you for being with us. What are you dealing with right now?
Right now, we're just dealing with the growth of this fire during the daytime because of the winds that continue to grow out of the west and southwest, which is expanding this fire, moving it north and northeast from the Dolores River Canyon through San Juan National Forest. And it is threatening some private land within Dolores County, within the San Juan National Forest. But the Forest Service and the fire crews are really doing the very best that they can with the limited number of resources that they have.
Yeah, are you getting everything that you need? I mean, I hear you say limited resources. Are you getting what you need?
They are starting to bring in some more crews, but because of all the fires that are going on, not only within Colorado, but in other states, it really stretches thin the amount of resources that are available on the federal and the state side.
So you're down there in the southwest part of the state. It's basically the Four Corners region. You got, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. That's just for our audience. That's sort of where you are tonight. But this is spread all across the state there, or in many parts of the state. How?
Well, it's just because of the thunderstorms that came through just over a week ago, that produced dry lightning because there was no moisture with it, and we are so dry. In this drought condition within Colorado, especially here in the southwest, that it doesn't take much to cause a fire to start. And then with the gusty winds, up to 40 and 50 mile an hour gusts, and maintaining about 35 miles an hour, it moves very fast, quickly.
You know, the big story across the country tonight is weather. In much of the East Coast, this heat dome, I believe it's only in the 80s where you are. Is the challenge there the wind?
Yes, it is the wind, the heat, and the drought conditions that we've been suffering on. We had no winter to speak of whatsoever.
What are you telling residents tonight there in your county, and what are residents across the state being told?
Be prepared. You never know where the fires will start and where they will go, but we get people to make sure that you have go bags, get things ready to go, have a plan for what you're going to do with yourselves, your family, your pets, your livestock. Have these plans in place now, and we can assist everywhere that we can, but be ready to go if you need to. Yes.
Sheriff Nolan, there in Montezuma County, Colorado, we wish you all the best. As I mentioned, 0% contained in his area, 30,000 acres burning, more than 120,000 across the state tonight. Sheriff, all the best to you and your crew. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Of course.
it.
All right. Well, in other news coming into our newsroom tonight and breaking at this moment, we are told some new details about the most closely watched wedding of the summer, and it's happening right now. The Associated Press reporting that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's rehearsal dinner is underway. The wedding reportedly taking place tomorrow, 5 p.m. at Madison Square Garden. New York police ramping up security for the reported wedding events, including extra officers, street closures, and crowd control measures. It comes as two other New York lovebirds are now released from police custody, facing a long list of charges. That, one of the big stories yesterday, the hair-raising climb to the top of the Empire State Building for a marriage proposal. Those two now with some serious trouble. All right, coming into our newsroom tonight from our partners at The Hill, a fresh snapshot of the economy showed it losing steam in June. Employers adding just 57,000 jobs last month, about half of what economists were expecting. Stocks, though, climbing on the news as it could ease pressure on the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates, possibly lowering that expectation. Stories from across the country coming in our newsroom as well. This from our Nexstar affiliate, KAZT, with another public health alert. The CDC now saying that the mosquito-borne West Nile virus spreading across the U.S. with at least 48 confirmed cases so far this year, leading to at least one death. The CDC warning the virus has been detected in more than 20 states, making it one of the most widespread outbreaks in years. As a result, they are encouraging everyone to use insect repellent this 4th of July as just a precautionary measure. Down to the Big Easy, our New Orleans affiliate WGNO, the FDA upgrading a recall of several potato chip brands to its highest risk level over concerns that they could be contaminated with salmonella. The manufacturer, Utz, began using a voluntary recall in May on thousands of its Zapp's and Dirty brand potato chips, with the FDA now upgrading the recall to a Class 1 designation. No illnesses reported so far, but ahead of the 4th of July feast, consumers are being urged to throw away chips with dates between July 27th and August 31st. Well, tonight, a man being pulled from the rubble in Venezuela, 8 days after twin earthquakes rocked the country. It comes as rescue groups on the ground in South America are clinging to hope as they turn over the debris of crumbled buildings. And another story of hope, one of those groups rescuing a dog just this week from under heavy concrete and rewarding his rescuer with a lick on the cheek. Man's best friend. The death toll, though, currently stands at over 2,000 people, with over 11,000 injured from those twin earthquakes. Rescuers, as you might imagine, continue to search for hopefully more survivors. Well, back in this country, a wild night for U.S. soccer ends in cheers from American fans. You love it. Crowds and all across the country erupting into applause as the U.S. men's national team powered through Bosnia and Herzegovina. 2-0 victory last night. Team USA's first win in a World Cup knockout round in 24 years. But even with all the joy and the celebration, a big question tonight as the team's leading scorer, Folarin Balogun, receiving a red card, which means not only was he kicked out of the game, but he also has to miss the upcoming game in just a handful of days. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, making it known what he thought about that call.
I got screwed with that red card. I wish there needs to be an appeal process for that. It's probably too late for that.
The team now advances to the round of 16, where they will face off against Belgium without the top scorer, who will be sidelined because of that red card. You know, there's only been only so many people on this planet who can say they've ever scored a goal in the World Cup. And this man's one of them. Bruce Murray, Soccer Hall of Famer, former member of the Team USA men's national team. He's currently involved with Bethesda Soccer Club, which is the powerhouse here in the DMV area. Bruce, thanks for joining us tonight. What'd you make of the call?
Oh, my God. Thanks for having me on. The call was absolutely it was a bad call. And, you know, I really, the VAR situation needs to be corrected. You know, the referee didn't call anything on the field, and then he got in his earpiece, you know, take a look at this. Then he had to go to the monitor, and it was just a bad call. I mean, you have to have a place where you can put your foot down, and unfortunately, you know, the Bosnian player was there. But yeah, honestly, I think everyone in the United States, I mean, everyone like who's not even, you know, doesn't like the United States getting going forward, whatever, doesn't matter. I think everyone thought the same thing.
Marco Rubio said they got, in his words, screwed. Merriam-Webster dictionary said it's not the definition of a red card. So they are on the side of Team USA, as you might imagine. You know, one of the fascinating threads in all of this is the new coach. Team USA has been searching for a while now for someone to lead the team and sort of pull them out of where they were. And the coach that they landed on is from Argentina. And he's made some amazing comments about leading Team USA. For example, here's some of them.
And of course, when that song start to, you know, to sound on the stadium, it's impossible not to sing. It's impossible because it's an amazing song, no? And it's very emotional. And after to win a game, no.
Talking about country roads there, which has become one of the rallying cries. Mauricio Pochettino, he's embraced the U.S. How has the U.S. and his players embraced him?
I think the players have a belief in Pochettino. I think there was a period of time where, you know, he ran into some issues and things that he had to sort out. But he's a very positive guy. He's a former Argentine national team player, a real workhorse in the midfield. But, you know, he's coached some of the big teams as well, right? Chelsea and PSG. So this guy knows pressure. He knows world football. And, you know, I don't think you can have a better guy in charge right now.
You know, the guys up front have been scoring, and I think that's one of the sort of surprising or hopeful themes for this American team is how much they've been scored. But I saw something about the goalkeeper, Matt Freese, that caught my attention because he has a LinkedIn page. He's like many Americans out there, Bruce, who have a LinkedIn page. And I noticed on his LinkedIn page that during the 2022 World Cup, the last World Cup, he was an intern for a private equity firm, basically an intern in finance. Fast forward to the next World Cup. He's in between the goal and an absolute stud. What's his story?
Well, I think that's fantastic. He's made a lot. We Dave Johnson and I call the DC United games here in Washington, and we've seen Freese a number of times, and he always stood out. And you said to yourself, no, man, maybe he's the guy, but no way. He's not going to take an MLS goalkeeper. He's going to take Turner because he's over at Forest playing in the English league. Well, I think Pochettino, this is the thing that really impresses me. He's got Freeman starting at right back. He's an MLS player. He doesn't care where you came from. He just wants you to be able to do the job.
Interesting. You think they win on Monday?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Against Belgium?
I say wins. And I also say this. I say this is a tournament. Anything's possible. This isn't the Premier League. It's not you don't have to prove yourself over 40, 50 games. This is a 5-6 game tournament. Anything can happen. And right now, the United States is on fire. And I think they have every chance to win this thing like anybody else.
Hey, I got to run, but describe to me in 20 seconds, if you can, the feeling of scoring a World Cup goal. What's that like, Bruce?
Oh, it's at the moment. I just wanted to get the ball because we're down a goal. So, but when you interview me and tell me later, I feel really good about it. Thank you very much for that.
All right, Bruce Murray, one of the greatest American players of all time. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Still to come tonight. Or by the way, I should mention streams for that song, "Country Roads." They have surged by 74%. Since the World Cup began. Streams hit 1.7 million in a 3-day span after the teams win. It's been a rallying cry. It's awesome, as you very well know. All right, stay with us. Flying high, still to come. The Thunderbirds set to soar across the D.C. sky this weekend for America 250. I just asked, what is it like to score a goal in the World Cup, right? What's it like to be a Thunderbird pilot? When we return. More than 24 people dead after Russia unleashed its biggest attack against the Ukrainian capital city, Kyiv, since Moscow first invaded the country back in 2022. The drone and missile strikes follow a warning from the Ukrainian leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, that Russia was planning a massive assault on his country. Our Robert Sherman, live tonight, international correspondent with the very latest. Robert?
Blake, the country of Ukraine getting rocked overnight, with local officials there attesting to the fact that they believe this was the single largest missile and drone attack they have seen to date. You look at the skyline of Ukraine and the way that it was just pounded there overnight. Hearing from people on the ground there, some of them fled the city outright. Others spent much of the night in the metro stations underground, just trying to live and survive throughout the night. Today, you have seen local officials on the ground there picking through the rubble and debris, trying to pull out survivors, pull out the wounded, dozens of people injured. The death toll has been rising throughout the day. The latest count, according to local media on the ground there, 27 people killed. Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calling on President Trump to send his negotiator, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, to Ukraine to see the situation for themselves. He also said at next week's NATO summit, hoping to meet with American officials to chart a path of diplomacy forward. Blake?
Robert, you're in Doha tonight, of course, the site of where these negotiations had been taking place between the U.S. and Iran. The latest there?
The big thing here, Blake, is that there's a tense feeling between all these different parties here because nobody knows where all this is going to go. We know there's going to be a pause on negotiations for the coming days as there's a funeral taking place in Iran starting this weekend for the supreme leader that will wrap up sometime next week. They're hoping to get negotiations on the schedule there soon. But a lot of what was discussed here this week was the Strait of Hormuz. Still a long way to go in all this. Blake?
Your sense, Robert, of what's to come next week, obviously, the 4th of July, and basically the agreement there involving the former Ayatollah's funeral. But then what comes next week? What's your sense?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is watch the Strait of Hormuz this weekend because much of these negotiations revolved around the Strait of Hormuz this week with the way you saw the flare-ups, disagreement over management, routes through the Strait of Hormuz. Watch the Strait of Hormuz this weekend because that's what all parties are going to be watching to make sure this can hold.
He is our man on the ground, Robert Sherman, there in the Middle East once again for us tonight. Robert, thank you. Well, it was a spectacular sky show in advance of America's big birthday. We got a little bit of a preview today. The Thunderbirds flying over Washington, D.C. They're going to be a part of the big show on Saturday night. So what is it like to be a Thunderbird pilot? One of the majors flying over our nation's capital joins us to tell you. The American icon of the skies, the Thunderbirds, flying high to celebrate the big 250th anniversary of America's founding. The squadron flying over the Hoover Dam earlier this week, and now heading right here to the nation's capital, where they will lead the aerial celebrations this weekend for the 4th of July. Just a little while ago, I spoke to one of the 8 Thunderbird pilots, Major Laney Scholl, on what it's like to be in that bird. Major Scholl, thanks for being with us tonight. It is an honor to have you on and to hear from you. Let's start here. When you got the call and they were like, this is what you're going to be doing and this is what your team's going to be doing, what was your first thought?
You know, it's funny to think back about it. The first talks of doing any kind of air demonstration for the America's 250th birthday was happening about a year ago. So this has been a year in the works. We were excited then, you know, at the possibility of doing it. And now to be here, you know, practicing and on the actual weekend to be able to make history and do the first air demonstration over the National Mall ever is truly incredible. And, you know, we all just feel incredibly honored to be here.
Yeah. So what's it like flying over Washington? Because this is, for lots of reasons, restricted airspace, but you get to go over it. What's the view like?
It's incredible. Just to be able to look down out of the cockpit and see the National Mall, the Washington Monument, the White House, the Capitol, all the things that nobody gets to fly over, right? We got to fly over the White House with the Blues a couple of weeks ago, just doing a flyover, but to actually be able to do our air show that we do every single weekend and, you know, do all the aerobatic maneuvers and everything, pretty incredible.
Tell me what it takes to be a Thunderbird pilot. I mean, I can't imagine. You obviously know, but how'd you get to where you are?
So to become a Thunderbird pilot, it takes quite a few years of just kind of flying the line. Most of the people who join the team are about 10 to 15 years of experience of flying fighter aircraft or an instructor in whatever fighter aircraft they're coming from. And, you know, I think that what connects all of us is that connection to service and like giving back. We feel like we've all done some really amazing things with our time in the Air Force, but we were all kind of called to give back on the inspiration piece. And so we're all just super excited to be able to do this job every single weekend. It truly is an honor. And then to be able to represent the Air Force and really our nation on, you know, such a national and world stage this weekend is truly an honor as well.
Major Laney Scholl, we thank you so much. Have fun up there this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it, of course. How cool is she? By the way, there will be a flyover every hour for 7 hours Saturday evening featuring 30 different military aircraft from the Army, Navy, Air Force and Marines. All right, how about this? Let's swing you around the country for a moment. National Mall, of course, the big bash on Saturday night. One of the event organizers telling me they are going to break the world record when it comes to fireworks on Saturday evening. Happening right now in New York City, the Associated Press reporting that Taylor Swift's, Travis Kelce's rehearsal dinner is underway. Congrats and good luck to the happy couple, and good luck to the NYPD trying to secure that thing. Also, live look over at LAX. AAA says nearly 6 million Americans expected to fly for the holiday weekend, 72 million to travel in total. Well, by the way, want to let you know, we hope you're with us on Saturday night. I'll kick off News Nation's live coverage, 6 o'clock Eastern here on Saturday. We'll see you then. But before then, hope you have a great day. I'm Blake Burman. I send it on up to Elizabeth.